Hello, everybody. Catherine Veronica back here, ready to talk more anthology insights with my podcast babe girls. I am so excited for this. All right, here she is, the beautiful Ilona Rubashevskyi. Let's go live. Let's see. Hello, Sona. Hello, Alexia. There we go. Hi.
Hello. Can you hear me?
I can hear you, beautiful lady.
It all works.
Yes. So a little behind the scenes to share with you with Ilona and I. Can I share with them? We had to practice.
You can share.
We did it 3 times. We tech checked 3 times.
We're not friends, but that's okay. We got it working, and so it's exciting. It's another win. Yes. And we're all about strength and power and the female empowerment where we bring each other up and help each other rise. So, yes, thank you. This is an example of how amazing this community podcast is. That Kat so generously and wonderfully has been spearheading, leading, and it was her vision, and she created it so beautifully. Thank you so much for nobody's left behind. You're amazing. We're all amazing. All the babes are so amazing. So
we are a beautiful community. I have to say that. And you are a beautiful woman with a beautiful story. I am so excited to have you as part of this anthology. And you know, I had already known a bit of your story from doing UPW with you. You are actually one of the original podcast babes from the 2023 Dallas creation of Podcast Babes.
I remember when you came up to me and you're like, let's do a podcast group. I'm like, yes, let's do it. I don't have a podcast, but yes, let's do it. That's amazing. You're brilliant. Yes, that was awesome. You're awesome.
Yes. And so you've stayed with us, and I love that about you. And I had already known a bit about the story of like the struggles you had just gotten through. And I remember then, now, as I was reading your full story, I was just like, holy gosh, this woman has been through so much, right? You're like, whoa. So yeah, I can't wait for people to read your chapter. I'm not going to give away all the details, but you really talk about surviving and thriving and having, you know, monkey wrenches thrown at you and still being successful. Right?
Life is short. It's basically what we make of it. It's the lessons we get to learn that give us the strength, the power, the endurance, and the, you know, leveling up. Life's like a video game. You level up.
Absolutely. I could not agree more. So when you were writing your chapter, take us to that moment where you really felt like you were turning your pain into power, the beginning of like, okay, I'm going to shift this and alchemize this into power.
Ooh, okay. So writing the chapter, there was a lot of resistance. It was like, no, you know, I'm like, well, let me talk it through and let me just only pick a few things that I'm going to share. And then at some point, like, I didn't force myself. I did voice notes and things along the way, along the journey, went all the meetings, you know, listened to all the, you know, all the support from our group. And then finally, it's like, deadline, right? Approaching. I have to do this. So I sat down and the fire hose floodgates, not fire hose, sorry, fire hydrant floodgates, just like out of me. And I wrote 3 times as much as needed. And then I'm like, after I'm done, I'm like, I don't want to read this.
I love it.
It's too much. I can't read this. So, of course, I needed to, and I did. And then the terrifying part happened for me at that point. I'm like, I don't know who to and how to, you know, it was literally, I don't know who to and how to, I couldn't put words together. But I'm like, what would my parents say? Mm-hmm. And finally, I was like, you know what? I'm just going to give it to them. And before it's printed, they should have a say. And I'm like, Dad, read this. If there's something blatant out here, let me know, something that's insulting. That was not my intention.
Yes.
But by the time I wrote the chapter, I was grounded in I have every right to have these feelings. I have every right to have this voice. I have every right to share what I have to share. And so my dad read it and he said, this is very powerful. And I was like, wait, what? He's like, I would not change anything. I'm like, I asked you to like remove half the words, cut it down, do all the things that you normally like edit. No, there's nothing I would change. I'm like, seriously? So that was like a thank you, and did it again and again and again. And of course, everybody here, we had an editing team, which was amazing. Thank you so much.
Yes.
And my editor was Nina. Thank you. And then I also got some editing from other sources as well, because the edits that I received were like, I'm missing the point, because the reader who was editing didn't get the full point of what I was trying to say. And I'm like, what can I do? So reflecting mirror reflections back at me, what can I do to get the point that I was trying to get and make? And so all of this stuff, it was like, it got me to accept my journey. It got me to accept my mess, as you said earlier. It got me to accept all the things that I did and see the growth that I've gone through, and see from here to I'm like, wow, I've done all this, and know that there's no hate, because I wrote it and I was like, my pain does no longer carry the hate, the pain, the agony, the things that I was like, I will never get past this. How will I ever survive? How will I ever move through it? No, it no longer has that. And it was like, it's gratitude. It is genuine love and gratitude for all the pain, for all the trauma that I've gone through. And I'm not at the full point of I would do it again. Not yet. But I have been close to it. And so basically getting to the point of acceptance and being like, I am grateful for all of these experiences. I'm grateful for all the learnings and everything that has gotten me to this point. Yes, I wish I was not as stubborn and masochistic and sadistic to myself. But yes, more of that stuff in the chapter. Stay tuned and read. And so now it's like the part where I'm on the other side of the hill, on top of the hill, being like, okay. And it's almost where it's like, yeah, I would go through this again. And faster and less stubborn. My brilliant mind, less stubborn.
Yes. Yes, your clan just said lots of healing and writing, and I think so. I think that's something that we all experience. And what you're talking about, that resistance, that also is a common thread, right? There's something so interesting about that paradigm where we want to share our story, right? Like, I want to be able to tell people what I've gone through. I want to help people, but then there's also that other side, right? That other people experience. Even for myself, like, what is this person going to think? Am I going to hurt this person? Should I leave this person out of it? Or other resistances of where it's like it's too much, or is it too raw? Is it too real? There comes up a whole bunch of questions in your mind, right? And I think there's a lot of healing that's had in actually doing it and getting it out there. So I hear that you started with gratitude, right, to kind of help you shift through that. Is there anything else that you feel like that you did, any like rituals or emotions or reframes that you use to kind of get past the resistance?
So meditation, so something that you learn in my story is sitting with the and sitting with, which is panic and or any of those like freak out emotions, panic, fear, fight, flight, all of those. So just sit with it. And so I was like, I can't do this. And I'm like, okay, I can't do this. Where is that fun voice coming from? Is it my inner child? Is it my inner critic? Is it which voice is it? Is it my inner ego? And it's like, no, it's not my ego, because my ego's like, you can do anything. Except, before it's changed. And I talk about that in the chapter. So stay tuned. I'm not going to share more of that. But yeah. So all of these things, it's like, I sit with the discomfort, and it's like leaning into that thing those emotions that appear to be healing you, appear that they could be the worst thing in the world. But if you just sit with it, you realize, and it takes each emotion, of course, and repetition, right? Mother of skill, as Tony Robbins puts it. So sitting with that unease, uncomfort, the emotions that are just like want you crawling out of your skin, just sitting with it, it disappears, it evaporates, it vanishes, and it gives you some insights, brilliant wisdom. So sitting with it quietly, setting a timer and sitting with it.
Yeah.
And yes, I like giving little actionable items, which I also do in my chapter. So, come to the launch on October 18th. Get the book there. It will have a brilliant launch party, more of these discussions. So yes, do that.
Yes, absolutely. I love that. And I love the idea of sitting with it. So many times we try to avoid, right? Avoid the pain, avoid the frustration, avoid the embarrassment, avoid the hurt, avoid whatever it is that's negative. But you have to truly feel it to heal it. Just like you said, there's wisdom in that, right? There's something there that's speaking to you of a deeper wound or clarity or a message of something that needs to be felt so that you can recognize it and heal it, right?
Yeah, no avoidance, as some of our listeners are saying. Sit with it. Yes. And it's basically, it's like having a closet in your room, or a room that, like in your house, which you don't go into. And it's a mess. And every time you pass by that, you're like, I don't want to be there. So it's like, once you clean it out, that room is like no longer, I don't want to be here. So, and imagine this room inside of your body, inside of you, and you're walking with that all day long, every day. So unconsciously, you're like, I don't want to be here. And that's inside your body because you can't escape. And so you do. You escape by doom scrolling or, different things, activities that you may not want to be doing. So yes, think about it. Just
I love that.
look into that room. Look into that do not disturb room. The do not enter room.
Yes, definitely. So I heard you talk a little bit about your father, right? And giving him the chapter. Has this chapter shifted how you show up with him or show up with yourself and your family? Is there something that shifted there?
Not really, because my dad and I have an amazing bond, an amazing relationship. My mom and I, we've had a challenging relationship, and I've grown to accept and be like, okay, because there's a lot of mirroring in there. So it's like we mirror each other, and we, of course, have this like, oh, I don't like that about me. And so I'm seeing it in her, and that just triggers and back and forth triggers. So with my dad, and plus my mom does not really read English. So, so with my dad, it was more like, he's supportive. He's a strong, grounded male figure who I can lean on. He's the perfect dad. And so amazing, where I can be like, Dad, I need help, I need advice, I need this. And he's just, and sometimes he's like, I want to, I've shown him the nail. It's not about the nail in the forehead. There's a YouTube thing about that. And so I've shown him, I'm like, I don't need your advice right now. I just need you to listen. And so he's like, it's hard for me, but I'll do it for you. So he does. So my dad and I have a magical relationship. And so it's great that he's supporting me. And it's great that, because if there was something that's not okay to be published, that he would take personal, my intention was not to, hurt anybody or offend or insult anybody. And so running it by him was a way to make sure that I don't when it does get published, because I do know that I'm constantly growing and healing. And I did not want something that was written by, the less evolved me to kind of, look back in a few years and be like, oh, I was horrible when I wrote this, So I did not want that kind of thing in writing, because I know that my intention was pure of heart. And my intention was, hey, this stuff happened and I'm growing past it. And these were my learnings. And I have a lot of gratitude and love for all my experiences involved. So my dad, circling back to that, he's been an amazing, supportive, grounding rock that I can always rely on and count on. And I'm grateful to him.
I love that. I am so grateful for him too. I love this. And so in this listening of this interview and in the writing of the book, what would you like listeners to do next? What are you hoping that they can now get from this interview and from your chapter?
I would like, so in my interview, I have I've got two amazing key insights, which are worded. So basically, I've got 5 truths, and a key takeaway is to be nicer. And they're acronyms. Secret, unfolded. They're acronyms, and you need to get the book to see what they are. And so it's easy, actionable steps for the listeners to take away and implement right now, because it took me like decades, plural, wow, to get to where I am. And it was my stubbornness. It was my, no, my mind is brilliant. It knows what it's doing. But hey, my mind is focusing on the vision and on the life that I am, that's created by the filters. Brilliant, beautiful mind. But it's the one, I'm living the life I'm focusing on, which yes, I may not know any better. So think of it this way: the horse with the blinders on. I can't see everything out here. So this way, it's like you're kind of expanding your vision, ooh, your periphery, what you can notice by doing those things. And I was refusing. I'm like, nope, I know everything. I know. That whole approaching life. No, I'm right, you're wrong. And yes, but it's in that mindset, in the little bubble of yes, I know everything in this little bubble. But outside the bubble, there's a whole new world, right? Yeah. Words of Aladdin, a whole new world. And I'd like to live in this whole new world, where you elevate in Power versus Force. There's the vibration. So elevate your vibration, get out of the blinders, get out of this little, small world where you know, and be open to what's over here. I don't know. And it's exciting and beautiful and wonderful. So yes, going through that pain message, staying in the world, being terrified to exit, don't take that long, because it's so beautiful out here. And it can't be as messy as your mess. And even if it is, what can you learn from that mess? And how can you make it better? And how can you thrive even more? So that is my thing. Don't stay stuck. Don't stay in your perfect bubble. You don't need it. There's more to learn. Yes.
That's so good. That is so good. There's actually a prayer that I read that's in my chapter that this is reminding me of, where it's about how, we don't have all the answers, right? And God or the universe or whatever you want to call it, whatever you believe in, has so much more of an expansive view. And sometimes you have to trust that you can't see the whole plan, right? You can't see what else is out there. And so you just have to trust that there is more, and just keep on taking the next steps and the next steps.
And if you don't believe in the greater plan, still know that, hey, because it's like learning any program, learning any language, learning any, yeah, I don't want to learn, I don't want to fail. But once you learn it, you're like, a whole new thing opens up. So if you're not in the woo, which some of us are in the woo-woo, I love the woo-woo, I really love the woo, but not everybody does, and that's okay. And so coming to it from a scientific point of view, when you're learning something new, it's hard. You don't wanna. It's uncomfortable. But then it's like, you got it. And now you're able to do all these other things that you couldn't when you did not know it. So yeah, again, opening things up. Whole new world.
Thank you so much, Ilona. This interview has been so much fun. I am so excited for the readers to read your chapter. You're going to be blown away by her story, by the tips that she gives, and by her presence at the launch on October 18th. So come see Ilona at Rise and Roar. It's going to be so much fun. It's going to be a party, baby.
It's always a party with Podcast Babes. Come join. So fun. Yes. Such amazing, great, wonderful women. Yes.
We really are. I'm so lucky to have all of you guys. All right, my dear, I will see you soon. So go follow Ilona here on the Podcast Babes page. She will be tagged in this so you can follow her Instagram, follow her journey, follow her podcast coming up, follow all the things that she's up to, her coaching, all the things that she's really creating in the world so that you too can turn your pain into power, baby.
Thank you so much, Kat. So great being here.
Thank you, thank you, thank you. Love you so much. Bye, babe.